everyone! Today I'm going to talk about a few examples of liminal spaces in media. Liminal spaces are not always easily defined by textbook as it depends who you ask, but they're usually characterized as having at least a few of these traits. Large empty spaces, places that feel nostalgic or familiar to the viewer, often set in the late 90s or early 2000s, unnatural lighting, low quality, slightly off architecture or placement of objects, places that are usually busy but seem empty. Liminal spaces can also be defined as a transitional period between two places or states of being. Bus stops, for example, are the thing between space A and B of travelling, making the bus stop the liminal space. They can be used to invoke feelings in the viewer of the image, such as fear, anxiety, nostalgia, comfort, or more. Now that we have spoken about what can make something liminal, let's talk about how liminal spaces are used in media. I have two examples of liminal spaces being used in film. The first example is The Shining, directed by Stanley Kubrick, released in 1980.
Hi, I've got an appointment with Mr. Ullman. My name's Jack Torrance.
The movie follows Jack Torrance, his wife, and their child as they go to the Outlook Hotel during the harsh winter as Jack is given the job of being the caretaker. Throughout the movie, Jack becomes increasingly more unstable and isolates himself from his family. This is reflected by the wide shots used throughout the film. These shots also show a scale of the giant Outlook Hotel looking eerily empty. This makes the viewer feel uncomfortable, as we see hotels as being always busy and not dead quiet. The second example of liminal spaces being used in film is 28 Days Later.
Hello!
Although it doesn't reach all of the criteria of a liminal space, the shots still work the same. The uncomfortable silence and emptiness that falls on London after Jim wakes up from his coma is almost suffocating. We're forced to follow him in real time through the dead streets of the city that's known for always being crowded. The movie does a really good job of making the viewers feel just as anxious and tense as Jim would, as it holds the same silence and emptiness in these shots as liminal spaces do. When I first watched the playthrough of Superliminal, the Markiplier one of course,
Cheese. I love cheese.
I was taken aback by how well the game managed to capture that dreamlike feeling. With its strange logic and labyrinth-like feeling to the game, with tangled hallways of almost familiar places, it really feels like a liminal space. The game has moments of complete stillness, but also moments of intensity, bringing that same anxiety that some liminal spaces do to viewers. The game makes you feel lost and confused, much like being in a nonsensical dream world, adding to the liminal feel of it.
Wait up.
Silent Hill 2. Technically, I wouldn't say I'm an expert on Silent Hill 2, or any of Silent Hill. I spent a brief period of one of my college projects looking into the horror game design for it. I watched a lot of the remake playthrough without commentary, and the game uses techniques to confuse and disorientate the player, like the iconic fog and mist in the game. The town is completely desolate, no residents in sight apart from the horrifying creatures that are out to get you. It's confusing, nightmarish, and downright terrifying, but nonetheless still liminal in my not-so-expert opinion. Besides, you can't tell me it doesn't look like an average day in your UK town. This is exactly what it looks like on any foggy day over here. I know I'm not an expert on media, or anything really for that matter, but I couldn't help making a video about this topic. I've always wanted to make a short video essay, and thought that this would be a good topic to cover, even if it was mostly just examples and opinions. I hope someone found this video educational, or at least entertaining. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, toodles and take care.